Sergio Checo Perez Mendoza, a name we all know in the sport of Formula 1, and he's been driving in it since 2011 and has already achieved 6 victories in his career, 5 of which came on street circuits. This has earned the Mexican driver the nickname the King of the Streets, but what is his secret behind his success on this type of track? Well, here in this GPFans Special, we will look at why Sergio is perhaps the king of the streets in Formula 1. Before we get into it, just a reminder to hit the subscribe button down below to stay up to date with all of our video content here at the channel. And of course, get onto gpfans.com and GPFans Global across social media for all of your Formula 1 news and views. But now, let's see why Checo is king when it comes to the less traditional circuits in Formula 1. After his victory in Baku 2023, Sergio Perez was called the King of the Streets. This is because, except for his first victory in Sakir, the Mexican driver has won all of his races in Formula 1 on a street track. Street circuits require a special driving style, and this seems to be perfectly suited to the 33-year-old Red Bull driver. Street circuits are circuits that are of course located in the streets of cities. These tracks are usually pretty narrow and have a number of corners and are quite bumpy as well and rough on the cars. In addition, these tracks are much more challenging than the traditional circuit. That's due to the fact that there are various obstacles that drivers have to encounter. Racing on a street circuit requires a different type of skill and technical knowledge than racing on a more traditional track. Drivers must maximize their reflexes to react quickly to the conditions, narrow corners, and of course, the tight, damaging walls of the circuit. Perez excels in this area and is a master of balancing the brakes, allowing him to take corners accurately and maintain optimal speed. The telemetry also shows that Perez presses the accelerator slightly earlier than his teammate when exiting a corner. Now, this can make a big difference when leaving a corner, especially on a circuit like Baku, where taking speed into the straights is vitally important. Although he loses some speed when entering the corner, he gains much more on the exit. Saving tyres is also vital on street circuits. A driver must perform constantly, as small mistakes can be heavily punished due to those tight walls that run alongside the track. And Perez has the gift of pushing the car right to the limit while keeping a close eye on the tyres, especially the rear ones. It is important to feel the limit just before the car starts slipping, and Perez masters this beautifully, allowing him to get the most out of the tyres while extending their lifespan and of course delivering a significant advantage in lap time. Checo mainly lets the car do the work, feels it all beautifully, and this works wonderfully well for his execution on track. So Perez is statistically unbelievably successful when it comes to navigating this type of circuit, but there is a small caveat when comparing his performances to those, for instance, of Max Verstappen over the last few seasons. For example, in Monaco in 2022, Perez crashed his car in Saturday qualifying, and at that time, the Mexican driver was still in the fight for the Drivers' World Championship. Now, some, including his Dutch teammate, believe that Perez deliberately crashed his car in that session. This meant that qualifying had to be stopped, and Verstappen couldn't do a final quick run in an attempt to steal pole position. And he had to start behind Perez on the narrow street circuit for Sunday's Grand Prix, where overtaking is almost impossible, thus handing the Mexican driver the win almost before the race even got underway. In Jeddah too, Verstappen could have taken pole position if he had not had mechanical problems during qualifying. Also, during the race in Singapore, pole position looked good for Max until he had to break off his final qualifying lap due to a lack of fuel in his car. And yes, he also had some luck with the safety car and Max Verstappen's badly timed pit stop in Baku in 2023. So maybe the Mexican driver's success has come with a healthy slice of good luck thrown into the mix. Despite everything though, Christian Horner, team boss of Red Bull Racing, is certainly satisfied with Perez's performance in Baku, but indicates that he now has to take the next step in his racing. He just has to do it on a normal circuit, says Horner. He excels on street circuits. All his victories were on street circuits. It's the second time he's won here. He's won in Singapore, he's won in Monaco, he's won in Jeddah. So he just has to do it on the right circuits, Horner said to race fans. So is Sergio your king of the street circuit, or perhaps has he been fortunate and created his own luck at times to ensure that he takes Grand Prix on the tight tracks? Let us know in the comments section below. Also, if it's not Sergio, who is the king of the street circuit? And of course, let us know as well on social media at GPFans Global across Twitter, Instagram, and of course TikTok, and gpfans.com for all of your latest news and views in the wonderful world of Formula One.